welcome to a live Kerfefe break. Oh my goodness, I almost said live deprogram. Live Kerfefe break on deprogram. Today is Friday, June 2nd. I hope you're having a good start to your weekend. I am. Hello, familiar faces in the chat. If you didn't see it, yesterday was a deprogrammed interview with Daywalker Comedy. Her real name's Amanda. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. The interviews usually run about an hour. It was about an hour. So funny. We played some clips of her videos. If you're not familiar with Daywalker Comedy, go subscribe to her. I had so much fun talking to her. We're gonna have her back. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. Another announcement is you should subscribe to Blocked Magazine, which if you're a knitter or a crocheter, you do anything in the fiber arts community, I would go subscribe to them. There's a fun special thing coming out in their issue this month, and it involves a lot of handmade knit items and that are going to be featured, and I get to be in some of the pictures and my husband, and it was so fun, and I don't know what else I can say about it yet, but go subscribe to Blocked Magazine. Neil James is the editor. You can find them mostly he's active on Instagram, but you can find him on Twitter and here on YouTube as well. So today I'm just going to run through a couple of things I saw that interested me. Hopefully they interest you. Somebody in the chat says they're pretty hectic lately. Yes, Night Train here too. We have been insulating the attic. It was a 2-day job. My husband and I. It's finally over. Thank goodness. I never want to ever do this again. And now I'm just in cleanup mode this morning, just trying to clean up because there's all the fluff, like the debris from the insulation got everywhere. Even, our closet, the clothes are covered in it and all over the floors. And so it's been a lot of cleanup and, but we're making progress on this house, which is exciting. And if you live in the Texas area or if you want to visit the Texas area, we do house concerts here. So you can see the progress in person. If you want to come to the next house concert, it's probably, I think, going to be in July is the next one. We just had one a couple weekends ago, which was all Latin music. So my husband performs and then he books a lot of just very talented musicians and does a different style, different theme of music each show. So the next one's probably going to be in July. And if you want the ticket link, we don't put the link public because it's our house. But if you want to get on the invitation list, at least to get the invite, then you can email me at deprogrammedpod@gmail.com and I'll make sure you get on that list for the next one. Okay. I think that's all the announcements. Happy Corporate Pandering Month, guys. It's June. I almost forgot. Yesterday was the first day of Corporate Virtue Signaling Month, and I made something. I'm not a great memer, but I made something that I'll show you. And let's see if I can get this on the screen just to kind of drive the point home. This is just a bunch of the corporate logos decked out in rainbow colors. And, it's the beginning of this just omnipresent pandering and marketing, and every single bank and every single airline and online platform and Google, all of it, every brand, M&M's, Ford, NASCAR, it doesn't matter. It's all on there. The NFL, Bud Light, of course, Pfizer, every single pharmaceutical company, they're all putting on the rainbow flag and pandering this month. It's become really insufferable. And when I shared this, I noticed some people said it's just a month. It feels like it's all year now. Yes, doesn't it? If you know any gay and lesbian people or trans people who appreciate this, let me know in the chat because I don't know any. And almost all the gay and lesbian trans people I know are sick of this crap. But I know that I probably tend to know people who are more awake to how craven this is. So, it's not the right word. Just how calculated this is. So maybe there are some people who still appreciate this. I'm sure there are, but I think even for people on the left, it's starting to become very obvious just how calculated and how money driven this is, and how gay and lesbian and trans people are being exploited for corporate profits. I just, it's almost a religion at this point. I got into it on Twitter. I don't know, it's been a while now, maybe it was 6 months or so ago. Some innocuous comment I made on a thread, and it was about how Pride Month keeps getting extended. It was started off, Pride was like one day, gay pride. It was, all the parades, and then now it's a whole month, and now it feels like it's more than a month, feels like it's an entire year. And just how it's infiltrated everything. And the propaganda, you can't avoid it. And I had said something like, can you imagine if all of the corporations and all of the political parties and the media and all of the cathedral, basically the powers that be, can you imagine them forcing any other kind of religious, because it is religious in a way, a religious celebration on the people like this? Can you imagine if they did this for Christmas, for example? I didn't say Christmas. I said a Christian. Can you imagine a Christian month? Christian parades all during the month. All the corporations putting Christian symbols in their logos. Can you imagine that? No. I can't imagine anything like that. And I got piled on. It was one of my bigger Twitter pile-ons, because I guess a few big accounts on the left shared it, and they were like, "Ha ha, dummy, that's what Christmas is." That was their response. That's what Christmas is. That is not what Christmas is. It's not. Christmas in this culture, in this country, has become very secular, and it's very commercialized. Not in this way, though. You don't see the cross, you don't see Jesus, you don't see what Christmas is really about. It's not the way it's celebrated in the mainstream, is not in a Christian way. You see Christmas trees, and you see elves, and you see, all the Santa Claus and all that stuff. Yes, absolutely. We see that. But that's not what I was talking about. That's not a Christian month. It's not. And somebody said, in that pylon, I remember somebody saying, and at Christmas we have to see all the Christmas movies in our programming on our different media apps and stuff, and our channels. I'm like, yeah, Christmas programming, which is not Christian. But think of it. You're talking about movies like Will Ferrell's Elf, which is very funny, or A Smoky Mountain Christmas, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies, or Pee Wee Herman has a great Christmas special. Like all of these Christmas movies, they're not Christian films. And they're not talking about the story of Christ. Are you kidding me? Like, that person made my point for me. Um, so I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about, because this month, all of the media channels are going to have their, like they do during all of their oppressed and marginalized people months, they're going to have their section where it's like, get into some LGBT films. They're going to have all their, like, this is Gay Pride Month, get into it. And yeah, it's kind of unavoidable. Yeah, Muppet Christmas Carol. That is not a Christian movie. It's a great movie. It's not a Christian movie. Yeah, so anyway, happy Corporate Pandering Month. I'm gonna stop sharing this. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Alex Lindstrom, thank you, sir. 9.99 says, I'm gay and I have to band together with my non-woke gay friends and others in order to get through this month. I'd totally attend a genuine straight pride if it existed. We should do a straight pride just for laughs, just to be funny. But what the media would do is, because they don't have a sense of humor, and the left doesn't have a sense of humor, they would take it seriously. They would say, "Look at this straight pride," "Look at these hateful heterosexuals," and it's like, this is a joke, guys. We're just having fun here. But yeah, they would take it seriously, and they would say it was hateful, I'm sure. Thank you for that. Thanks for weighing in, because you're like most gay people I know, just tired of it. It's gotten to be, it's so mainstream, it's beyond mainstream. That's what's funny. And meanwhile, they're trying to tell us every one of these special oppressed people months, whether it's Women's History Month or Black History Month or Gay Pride Month, They try to tell us these are oppressed people. These groups, you're an oppressed person if you're a woman, right? You're an oppressed person if you're black or if you're gay. It's like, really? Look at all these corporate brands. Are you serious? Every major institution in this country is is all about this month and promoting this month and pushing the propaganda, and you're telling us we're oppressed. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, John. I dude, I gotta figure out how to say your last name because I am embarrassed. Let me try. Pat? No, I can't do it. Thank you for the $5. He says, does anyone else think it's ironic that Pride Month is immediately after Memorial Day? Yeah, I don't know. I think I keep seeing this meme, which is funny and true, about how pride goeth before the fall. That's kind of funny um, in terms of timing. But yeah, thank you for that. And ADL 1992 for the $1.99. Thank you for the super chat, dude. Good to see you again. Okay. So someone just sent me something that I thought was really based. And if you're tired of the insufferable propaganda and the corporate pandering that happens during Gay Pride Month, something is happening in Germany. And let me see if I can get this up on the screen. This just came into my inbox. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. On Twitter, I wish my husband was here because he speaks German and he could help me with this one. But I'm going to try and do it justice. Okay. Let me make this a little larger. So Germans who are sick of the corporate propaganda at Pride Month, in Germany, I guess the German word for pride is here. You see the hashtag Stolzmonat. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hopefully I am. Stolzmonat. That's pride. So they have basically hopped on the hashtag for pride, all the German tweeters, and they are filling the hashtag with German flags, with their national flag instead of with pride flags. And so you can see here this guy, I don't know who, we do a little Germanic trolling, and then this dude says, we took over German Twitter to fight pride propaganda. Now it's on you. Join Stolzmonat. Get your flag for your profile here. And it says join the resistance, and it's the national colors of Germany. It's the German flag. And if you go to that hashtag, let's see if I can see. Can you guys see that? It's just a ton of these posts where they're just dunking on and making fun of Pride Month. They've taken over the Pride hashtag and they're just filling it with the German flag and videos and all kinds of stuff. And so the person who sent me this said, they think it's about to take off in Spain too with the national flag. So I would suggest we do something similar. Let's get on the hashtag Pride Month and let's just put American flags. Look at this. I'm German American and I stand with Germans. It's kind of cool. Somebody made a cake, a pie in the German flag colors. And there's just meme after meme. And so, yeah, I think we should do something similar. I'm going to do a post after this. I think it's funny. Speaking of, somebody says that is super spicy for Germans. Tara, hey Tara. Yeah, I think it is too. I don't know as much about Germany as you do, and as my husband does. But what little I know is because of their history, the history that everyone's thinking of right now, I think they're a little bit more timid when it comes to pushing back against woke because they fear repeating the sins of the past or something. And so they're a little bit more timid about pushing back against this ideology. And just in general, I think they're more culturally, maybe a little more they're a little bit more into conformity. We were in Germany. It was my first time ever in Germany last year. My husband was doing music there and I got to go with him. And there were people getting on the buses and stuff, like, who were not wearing masks outside, but then when they would get on the bus, they would put the mask on, they would comply, just we didn't. The Americans, we were like, whatever. But and nobody said anything. It was one of those things where it's not really being enforced, but they were still complying. And that kind of struck me as odd. I know there are still people doing that here in the States too, but it seemed like it was more common there. So that's what little I know about Germany. Somebody says, I love this idea. Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump on the Pride Month hashtag with just American flags. And speaking of, Chrissy Mayer, I saw this morning. So she is in the news again, our friend Chrissy, and everyone's always big mad at her. This is something she posted, which I don't know if she saw the German thing or not, but she's got the same idea in the way that she's pushing back. And she tweeted, remember this Pride Month that we already have a flag that includes everyone and that unites us all. You wouldn't have the freedom to put up the rainbow flag if it wasn't for the American flag. So God bless America. And then she included an old clip of Robin Williams in the American flag. And, people are piling on her for this. But I think that's one fun way of pushing back against all the propaganda. Just reply with the American flag or whatever your country is with your country flag, because it is. They want us to be divided. That's the other thing is it's like all these different special oppressed people months. They're just maintaining this division. Liberalism, we have been on this trajectory of individualism and liberalism in this country of common ground of judging people based on their character and not based on their sex or their race or their sexuality. And this woke stuff, and especially in the corporate woke pandering, it's just keeping those divisions alive. It's reinforcing it. It's like, let's continue doing this. Let's continue separating everyone based on immutable characteristics. It's ridiculous. So I like symbols. Like even I have issues with America. We all do. We have issues with whatever country we're in, with the government. I have a lot of issues with the government. But I like the symbol, the flag, because it's one of the very few things remaining that unites us all. So it's a fun thing to push back with. So let's do that. Okay. I've got one other Chrissy thing I wanted to show you guys. Like I said, she's in the news a lot right now. Speaking of stupid divisions and feigned outrage. So Chrissy Mayer went on Newsmax and they were talking about Chick-fil-A. And if you don't know, Chick-fil-A is in the news right now about their DEI program. And the founder, there was a video clip that went viral of him talking about how you should shine someone's shoes. He was talking about a church service and a white guy who went over and shined a black guy's shoes. I don't really have a problem with that clip, like a lot of people seem to. I don't view it as the offensive thing people are trying to say it is. I don't think he was making a comment about white people and black people, maybe to some degree, but not to the extent people are saying. Like some of the people on the right are saying, oh, he was saying all white people need to be subservient to black people and shine their shoes. And I don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was making a point about being humble and serving people. But anyway, there is currently an outrage happening. There's an outrage happening about Chick-fil-A. And so Chrissy Mayer went on Newsmax and they were talking about the Chick-fil-A controversy. So this is an article from the Huffington Post. So this is a smear job on Chrissy, and it's called Right Wing Comic. First of all, how do they get to decide? I hate this stuff. If I ever had a smear piece written about me, they would probably call me right wing too, because the people who do come after me call me that quite a bit, and it's not true. It doesn't matter. I could be right wing. Who cares? But they don't. I don't know. They just tack that on there, no matter what. Okay, right wing comic cracks overtly racist joke as Newsmax bit goes off the rails. And it says Twitter users called out comedian Chrissy Mayer after a Chick-fil-A discussion took a turn. And so you might be wondering, based on this headline, oh my gosh, what did she say? Something racist? Oh no. Let's see. So here's the clip that everyone's upset about. You can see they included all these different people, including Keith Olbermann. We'll get to him in a second. But they included all these different Twitter users who are hysterical. They're in hysterics over Chrissy's silly joke on Newsmax. Here it is.
It's pretty ridiculous to just assume that Chick-fil-A, I mean, you know, I'm hesitant to make a fried chicken joke, but they sell fried chicken. I don't know how much more inclusive we can get here.
Okay, silly, innocuous joke. All she did was make a fried chicken joke. And these people are freaking out. They're like, yikes. And then you can see, here's Keith Olbermann. Let's see what he has to say. Oh my gosh, this guy. He says, look at this piece of shit, Chrissy Mayer, being overtly and proudly racist. Oh my gosh, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. That's a chicken joke too. That's a Chicken Little joke. But the outrage is disproportionate to the joke. The joke is silly. Once you look at what she actually said, you're like, really? This is what people are upset about? This is why there are hit pieces being written about her and all these people on Twitter like Keith Olbermann calling her a piece of shit she's a comedian. She's being funny. And if you scroll on, there's more. Here's someone on the left, I'm guessing, her knowing she was about to say something very racist, and then she said it anyway. Oh my goodness. Yikes level off the charts. Here's another one. She dropped the dog whistle and went straight for the bullhorn. Oh my gosh, so racist. She said they make fried chicken. Oh no. She's a comedian, they say. KKK. Good Lord, this person says. And then he quotes her because it's so terrible what she said, right? Oh no, it's so racist. This guy announcing to the world on national television that you're a raging racist is so on brand for Republicans. What? What is racist about this joke? This guy cracks me up. Is she saying what I think she's saying? That chicken is delicious? Yes. That black people like chicken too? Yes. Get over yourselves. These people are just in hysterics. This person. So they've done away with the dog whistles altogether. Do you want to know why this joke is funny? It's such a silly joke. It's an old stereotype, right? That we've all heard this stereotype. Black people like fried chicken and watermelon. It's a stereotype. Do you know why it's funny? Because it's considered so taboo that people shriek like this if someone makes that joke. That's why it's funny again. Comedy cycles. That kind of joke, I don't think would have been funny 25, 30 years ago. It's like, oh, so tired and old, right? You know why it's funny again? Because you guys freak out like this over something so stupid. It's like, how dare you say that black people like fried chicken as much as white people like Jell-O salad? How dare you say that? Do you know why it's funny? It's a stereotype because white people do like Jell-O salad. Now, and again, obviously not all white people. It's funny. Sometimes I can't believe that we have to almost explain comedy, like why something's silly. And I can't imagine. I used to be one of these woke people. I can't imagine still being in that place of where you're so desperate to be offended and to be outraged that you write news articles and hit pieces and you call people a piece of shit like Keith Olbermann did for making a silly joke because you don't have the ability to laugh at anything anymore and you take yourself so seriously. And most of these people are white people. They view themselves as some kind of defender of black people, the honor of black people. How dare you say black people like fried chicken? They hate chicken. They hate it. It's a terrible thing to accuse them of liking chicken. What? It's not. It's so silly. Oh, John says the joke stops being funny if you have to explain it. Exactly. That's why they make us explain it. But I was thinking about why some of these stereotype jokes are funny again, like the stereotype that women can't drive, that we're all bad drivers. I used to think that was the most boring, lazy kind of joke. You know, people like Dice Clay would do jokes like that, and I was like, "Oh, back then I didn't find it funny." It's like, whatever. Now, I think it's hysterical if someone makes a joke like that, and I'm like, "Why do I think that's funny now?" Because I can't believe they're on stage taking that chance and saying something so taboo, even though it's not taboo, it's so dumb. That's why it's funny. People are in the chat talking about stereotypical foods now that different people like. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. So, that I just wanted to put up because I thought that was ridiculous. And if you are not familiar with Chrissy Mayer, you should go check her out. You probably are. She's a very funny comedian. If you are familiar with her, go send her something nice on Twitter. She's being piled on right now. And it's for a dumb reason. But yeah. Beard, thank you for the super chat. $5. Beard says, Chrissy, what do you think of Bisha K. Ali? Chrissy, isn't that what they yell before they blow up a plane? I remember that. I remember when she said that on Friday Night Tights. These guys, if they only watched Friday Night Tights, they would have enough material for endless smear pieces because there's all kinds of supposedly inappropriate jokes on that show. But yeah. John, they really don't like Chrissy. Yeah. They hate it. They hate it because she's funny and because she doesn't care what they think about her. And they can't stand it. And she's attractive. They also hate that, I think. Okay. What else? I've got a couple of other things I wanted to look at. Um, this one, give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. I saw this. I think it was because of James Lindsay was the person I saw tweet it at first. The Math Association of America on Twitter has become very woke, which should not be surprising if you've been following all of this, because back when I was indoctrinated, I picked it up in college, and that was in the late 90s. I picked it up. It was only in the social sciences back then. You know, I picked it up because of my women's studies minor, and it was in all of my classes for critical race theory, women's studies, queer studies. But I was a science major, and it was not in any of my science classes at that time. Now it is. Now it's in all the hard sciences. Every once in a while, I check out the primatology feed on Twitter just to see what people in the primatology world are talking about, because that's the world I was in, and it's thoroughly woke now. Math is thoroughly woke now. And so I guess it should not be surprising if you're following all this to learn that the Math Association of America has gone super woke. But here, let me put this up on the screen, and I'll make it a little larger. So if you are on Twitter, these guys tweet at MAA Now, Math Association of America Now, and they did this really weird, creepy post this week where they have, if you're just listening, they have this image, and it's the word camp in rainbow letters, of course, but it's camp in quotes, and it says camp of mathematical queries, but they spell queries like queer. They're making a pun there of queries, camp of mathematical queries. And they say, do you know an LGBTQ plus high school student with an interest in math? Send them this tweet ASAP so they can apply for our virtual camp of mathematical queries today. Applications are due tomorrow, and applying only takes 10 minutes. So they are segregating for so-called queer students. Any gay, lesbian, trans, or queer student. Do you know a gay, lesbian, trans, or queer student who's interested in math? Let them know they can come to our camp for queer people, our math camp for queer kids. What? This bothered me so much. I think because it's everything that's wrong with woke in like one tweet. They're segregating people by groups, like we talked about, this division. They can't defend that, by the way. A lot of people, myself included, in their comments were asking, like, why are you segregating gay kids out for math camp? Is gay math different? Do they they can't learn with people who are not gay? And there are tons of gay people in their comments that were saying, like, why are you doing this? And several people were like, I'm gay, I work in math. Like, uh, why are you treating us like we're snowflakes who need to be segregated off? You know, don't treat us any differently. So they're doing this segregation thing, and the woke people, they can't defend segregation. So I asked them, do you similarly segregate out black students who are interested in math? Do you have a black student camp for math? Do you have a camp for women? If you're a girl, if you're a female and a student who's interested in math, come to this girl camp. Do you do that? And they blocked me. That just for asking that question. They blocked a lot of people. They've been hiding replies, of course. But they can't defend the segregation thing. And although they didn't reply, there were several woke people who replied, and their answer to the segregation question, the woke answer, is basically this. They say, well, white men, actually the person said white Christian men for some reason. They were like, white Christian men have been segregating math for centuries. It's only white Christian men were allowed to do math. And I was like, wait, first of all, what are you talking about? But second of all, why would you ever, there's something wrong with your ideology if you justify something that's bad with something that's bad. I don't think they even realize they're doing that. It's like, so what you're saying then is segregation is bad, so we should keep doing it? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't they're defending segregation with segregation. They're saying yes, we should continue to segregate people and discriminate and put people in these little groups of identity. Why? Because that's what we've always done. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. So, dude, so you're on the side of the white supremacists then? The sexists, the racists? Like, I mean, yeah, you are, because that's what woke is. It is all those things. Yeah, so like I said, if you ask them a question about this queer camp for kids, they will block you or hide your comment. But then I thought this was funny because the very next day after they had, people had noticed that they were advertising this queer camp for kids, they had another tweet, another very woke tweet, and I wanted to read through that one because it's kind of hilarious. This one is about what's problematic. Okay. Let me pull this up. Hold on just one second. I'll check the chat. Hello, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. Beard, thank you for the super chat. $5 says, that's not the most racist joke she's ever made. Oh, you're right. Yeah, you sent me this one before the other one. You're right. The most racist in quotes. Yeah. Yeah. If they watched FNT, their heads would explode. Popta, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. This is what they posted the next day, which I thought was just so absurd. Again, I guess this Math Association of America thing bothers me so much because, again, it's everything that's wrong with woke in one Twitter feed. So this is what they tweeted yesterday, the Math Association. This is for math teachers. And so they said, eager to connect with your students? We all love to joke, but when we don't share the same references, irony and sarcasm can be confusing for students. Instead, try asking your students about what's going on in their lives. And then they have a whole article here written by this woke math teacher. It's called Inclusive Class and Seinfeld Math Values. It's from mathvalues.org. And I read this article, and the guy is basically detailing how he, as a math teacher in the 90s, he used to like to make Seinfeld references. He's like, as a way of connecting with my students, I like to make jokes related to Seinfeld, because back then we only had, 3 major networks, and almost everyone had seen Seinfeld, and students would laugh and think I was funny. And so he says, as the decades continued, he continued to try to make Seinfeld jokes, and fewer students laughed. And what he realized is that by making Seinfeld jokes, he is being problematic. He actually used that word several times, that he's being problematic. He's not being culturally sensitive, and he's not being inclusive. He used that word because not everyone will watch Seinfeld, that it tends to be more of an older white person show. so so he goes on in this article to say that the lesson he's learned as a teacher is that you should just refrain from any type of humor or trying to make jokes or make any cultural connection at all, because you're going to leave somebody out that is very problematic. And so the woke thing to do, although he didn't use the word woke, but he says the woke thing to do is to do little surveys that you give your students and ask them, like, what's going on in your life this week? Why don't you share? And then like read them out loud. And that this is a good way to connect, is to see what's going on in their lives. Not that you shouldn't know what's going on in your student life, but like it doesn't serve the same purpose as being just a silly and funny teacher. You may not think his Seinfeld jokes are funny. They may be like dad jokes, but there's nothing offensive or problematic or exclusive about dad jokes. That's just your sense of humor. I felt really bad for this teacher reading this, because he's stuck in this belief system that's like, you have to interrogate everything, every natural inclination. You have to interrogate it. And, oh, is there something wrong? Am I doing something wrong here? It's a white guy who likes Seinfeld. Oh no, I'm leaving people out. Like, just stop. Like, it's a prison. It's a prison that you're putting yourself. I used to be in that prison. It sucks. It sucks. And do you notice it gets you to clamp down on joy and humor? Like Chrissy's joke. They can't laugh at it. They can't even laugh at Seinfeld. They can't even laugh at something stupid like Seinfeld. It's just, I don't know. It's just soul sucking. So if you're on Twitter, go check out the Math Association of America and get ready to be blocked if you say anything to them. I recommend telling them a joke. I think that would be funny. They'll probably block you. But the Quartering is here. Hello, Quartering. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Good to see you, dude. He says, sounds like an anti-dentite. Oh no, I don't get this joke. I'm sorry. Oh man, what were we talking about before that relates to? Oh, is that a Seinfeld joke? If it is, you're gonna learn that I'm not up on the Seinfeld pun, so I've just been excluded, and I'm horribly. Oh, thank you. Yes, that's what it is. So, what you've done to me is harm. If you were a teacher making that Seinfeld reference and I were the student, you've just culturally excluded me from the room, and it's deeply problematic. I see. Seinfeld had an episode of an anti-dentist. Exposed. Yes. I did used to love Seinfeld. I'm probably older than you, the Quartering, and so I didn't watch like every episode. It's not like Friends. I never watched Friends. I don't know any. I would never get any of those jokes. So cool. Well, cool. Thank you for showing up. I was just gonna do a short show today. After this insulating the attic, I have a lot of stuff to do, to clean up and to get into the weekend. So there were just those couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and just to say hi to you guys. But if you guys have any questions, if there's anything you want us to cover upcoming, let me know. Wednesday, there were a couple more announcements I forgot. Wednesday this coming week, Mystery Chris is very excited. We are going to be doing, on Pop Culture Wednesday night, we're going to be doing the rise and fall of MTV and a whole retrospective. we're doing it in 2-part episodes because he's got so much he wants to talk about. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you're a fan of our pop culture episodes, definitely tune in this Wednesday night. We're doing the 80s and 90s of MTV, and then the following week we're going to do everything that happened after the 90s. The other announcement is if you're in Dallas, this coming Thursday, I'm going to be at the meetup in Dallas, the Friday Night Tights meetup. I can't stay for all the fun that you guys are having because I have to work on Saturdays, but I'm going to be there Thursday. So I hope to see some of you there. And I know the whole comics division guys are going to be there. Everyone. I love these meetups. I love them. You get to meet so many people in person, people from the chat. And it just feels like a really, I hate to use this phrase, but like a real safe space, a place where people can just be themselves, and there's none of this incursion of like that kind of stuff, like problematic Seinfeld jokes. There's none of that, where everyone's just free to be who they are, and people make like real life friends out of these meetups, and what they're doing with them, I think it's just wonderful, like bringing all kinds of people together. So if you're in the Dallas, Texas area, I hope to see you on Thursday. And then here's the last announcement I have. The end of this month, the last 2 weeks, I'm going to Chrissy Mayer's getting married. I'm going to her wedding. But after that, we're going straight on a road trip up to Montana. My husband is doing some shows up there. And so if you guys are in the chat and you want to meet up, I'm not sure yet what kind of free time I'll have, but maybe we could do a meetup somewhere so I could meet people in some other states. I've done this before when I was in Washington. It was a lot of fun. So if you are in New Mexico, Colorado, Montana, or Wyoming, send me a message. Probably the best place is to email me at deprogrammedpod@gmail.com, and just let me know where you live, and if I can work it into the schedule, we'll do some kind of meetup or hang out while we're on the road, and that'll be fun. But oh, Jules, we need to petition to get Keri to the UK. Hey, this fall I might get to go. I'm not sure yet, but I am going to Europe this fall, so I'll talk about those cities later. But I would love to do a meetup in the UK. I haven't been in a while, and I love your accents. So okay, guys, I don't think I missed anything. I'm just scrolling through. I wasn't looking the whole time. But have a great oh, Keri, what part of Texas are your house concerts? Houston? No, we are near Georgetown, Texas. So between Waco and Austin. And if you want to come, like we have people come from out of state. I've got people from the Deprogrammed audience who've come from out of state. Robert's come. If you want to come, just hit me up, deprogrampod@gmail.com. And it's like an old style kind of salon where it's just eventually I want to have poetry, maybe at one of these, or spoken word. I've talked to Clifton Duncan about maybe coming and doing something, and you just gather in our living room in our music parlor. We can fit about 50 people because we have these in this old house. We have pocket doors, so we open them up. We put people in all the side rooms, and people bring casseroles and desserts, and we have food. We provide food and wine, but people bring stuff, and it's just a real fun kind of party. We have an intermission, and you can see what we've been doing on this house if that interests you. All the stuff that we've been working on. But yeah, hit me up if you want to come. And then I saw one other question. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Sellsworth, $9.99. Did you see the Joe Rogan clip regarding the scene from The Life of Brian regarding a man wanting to become a woman? It's hilarious. I did not see that Joe Rogan clip, but I know the scene you're talking about, and it is hilarious. There are so many things about Monty Python and Kids in the Hall, actually. Kids in the Hall got a lot right way early. Kids in the Hall has a great sketch also about it's a art class, if you guys have seen that one. And there's a feminist in the art class, and they were doing this like 30 years ago. They could see it coming. And so I'll go check out the Rogan clip. But I know the Life of Brian clip you're talking about. It's really fun. Okay, guys. Yeah, bye to you too. Have a great weekend. And I hope to see you guys in Dallas. I'll see you before then. Let's see. On Monday, the 5th, for Kerfefe Break, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have Dr. Linda Blade, who I've interviewed before, but it's been a while. And she has been doing a lot of work to try and make sure that women's sports are for women. And we did an episode last week about trans women, about biological men competing with women in cycling, and about all the news updates that have been happening specifically in the cycling world. And so she's going to come on and kind of update us on the rest of the sports world. I can't wait for that. She's awesome. So Monday at noon, I'll see you there. Take care, guys.